My child, listen to me very carefully. I have called you 7 times, and each time you felt something you could not explain, something you tried to ignore, something you pushed aside because life felt too heavy, too loud, too confusing. But I am telling you now, those were not random moments. Those were not coincidences. That was me reaching for you. You thought it was just a feeling. You thought it was just your thoughts wandering. You told yourself it was nothing important. But deep down, you felt it, didn't you? That quiet pull, that sudden pause, that moment where everything inside you whispered, "Stop, listen." That was not your imagination. That was my voice trying to break through the noise around you. And now here you are again. This is not the first time I have tried to get your attention, but this moment is different. This moment carries a weight that the others did not. This moment is not just another call, it is the call you cannot afford to ignore. Because something is coming. Yes, something is coming into your life, something you are not fully prepared for if you continue to walk without me. I have been trying to reach you before it arrives. I have been trying to guide you, warn you, pull you closer, but you kept moving, kept distracting yourself, kept telling yourself you would listen later. But there is no more later. My child, this message is not it is not something you just happened to see. You were brought here, in the middle of your thoughts, your exhaustion, your silent battles. I place this moment right in front of you. Because I need you to hear me now, not tomorrow, not when things get easier, but now. You may not understand why your heart feels heavy as you read this. You may not understand why something inside you feels stirred, unsettled, almost urgent. But that is because your spirit recognizes what your mind is still trying to question. This is the 7th call. And this time I am not whispering. I am speaking directly to you, with urgency, with purpose, with a love that refuses to let you walk blindly into what is ahead. You have been feeling the pressure building, haven't you? The confusion, the emotional weight, the sense that something isn't right, but you cannot explain it. That is not that is not weakness. That is a signal. Something is shifting. Something is approaching. And this moment right now could change everything for you if you choose to listen. So do not scroll past this. Do not brush this off like the other times. Because this is not just a message, this is your warning. Stop right here, my child. Do not scroll away. Pause for a moment and breathe, because what you are about to hear is not something you can come back to later as if it will still carry the same weight. This moment is not replaceable. This moment was appointed. And if you rush past it the way you have rushed past so many quiet warnings before, you may miss what I have been trying to place directly into your hands. I need your full attention now. Not part of it, not distracted listening, not reading while your mind is somewhere else. I need you present. Because this is not just words on a screen. This is me speaking into a moment that has been building in your life for longer than you realize. Do not treat this lightly. You have ignored the gentle nudges before. You have felt the quiet pull and told yourself, "I'll deal with it later." You have sensed something deeper stirring inside you and chose to distract yourself instead. Not because you didn't care, but because you were tired, overwhelmed, unsure of what it meant. I understand that. I saw every moment. But this is not one of those moments you can push aside. This is not just another message you can skim through and forget. This is not something you can delay and expect it to wait for you patiently. What is happening right now carries urgency, and you feel it even if you cannot fully explain it. Stay with me. Do not let your mind wander. Do not let your hand move to scroll. Because the same pattern that caused you to miss the earlier calls is trying to pull you away again right now. That same distraction, that same resistance, that same urge to move on quickly. Pay attention to that. Recognize it. That is exactly why I am speaking to you like this. Because your attention is being fought for. There are forces around you that do not want you to hear this clearly. There are distractions that have been carefully placed in your life to keep you from slowing down long enough to recognize my voice. And every time you almost became aware, every time you almost stopped and listened, something pulled you away again. Not this time. This time you must stay. You must choose to be still for a moment, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if your thoughts are racing, even if part of you wants to escape this feeling. Because that discomfort you feel right now is not here to harm you, it is here to wake you. My child, you cannot afford to sleep through this moment. You cannot afford to treat this like everything else you have scrolled past. Because everything else was not carrying what this moment carries. Everything else was not positioned at this exact point in your life when something unseen is beginning to move. Listen closely, this is where everything begins to shift. But it only shifts if you stay. It only shifts if you allow yourself to fully receive what I am about to reveal. If you rush, if you skim, if you close your heart even slightly, you will miss the depth of what is being given to you right now. And I do not want you to miss it again. You have missed enough moments already. You have walked past enough quiet interventions without realizing what they were. You have delayed enough times, thinking there would always be another chance. This is why I am asking you. No, I am telling you, stay. Stay with me through every word. Stay with me through every feeling that rises inside you. Stay even if it becomes intense. Stay even if it feels too real. Because what you are feeling right now is not sluchakapkian, or it is alignment. This is the moment where you stop running. This is the moment where you stop distracting yourself. This is the moment where you finally listen. So do not move. Do not scroll. Do not ignore this. Because what comes next you need to hear. My child, I know why it has been so hard for you to listen. I know this is not just about distraction, it is about exhaustion. You have been carrying so much for so long that your heart doesn't even know how to slow down anymore. You wake up tired, not just in your body, but deep in your spirit. There is a weight you carry that no one else fully sees. You smile when you have to, you show up when you must, but inside, there are moments when you feel like you are barely holding everything together. I see that. I see the confusion that has been clouding your mind. The constant overthinking, the questions that never seem to settle, the feeling of not knowing what direction to take anymore. You have tried to figure things out on your own, again and again, but the answers never seem to stay. And that has made you feel even more lost. I see the loneliness too. Not just the kind where people are absent, but the deeper kind where you feel alone even when others are around you. The kind where you cannot fully explain what you are going through, so you keep it inside. You have learned to stay quiet about your struggles because it feels easier than trying to make someone understand what you cannot even put into words. And that silence, it has been heavy on you. There have been nights when your mind would not rest. Nights where you stared into nothing, replaying everything. The things that hurt you, the things you wish you could change, the moments you did not understand. You questioned yourself. You questioned your path. Sometimes, you even questioned if I was still with you. But I never left. Even in your confusion, I was there. Even in your silence, I was listening. Even in your distance, I stayed close. My child, you have been trying to be strong for too long. You have been trying to hold everything together without letting anyone see how much it is affecting you. You carry your responsibilities, your pain, your disappointments all at once, as if you have no choice. And slowly, without even realizing it, that weight has been draining you. That is why you feel so tired. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. There are moments when you feel numb, like you are just moving through life without truly feeling it anymore. Moments when even things that once mattered to you don't feel the same. And that scares you, even if you don't say it out loud. You have been hurt too. By people you trusted, by situations you did not expect, by outcomes that left you questioning everything. You gave your energy, your care, your time, and sometimes it felt like it was not returned the way you hoped. That left a mark on your heart. So you started pulling back. You started guarding yourself. You started trying to handle everything alone because it felt safer than being disappointed again. I understand why you did that. But my child, carrying everything alone was never meant to be your life. That is why your soul feels so heavy right now. That is why there is a quiet ache inside you that nothing else seems to fill. That is why, even when you try to distract yourself, something deep within you still feels unsettled. Because you were never meant to do this without me. And even though you drifted, even though you became distant, even though you stopped listening the way you used to, I never stopped understanding you. I never stopped seeing every hidden tear, every silent battle, every moment where you felt like giving up but kept going anyway. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are not broken beyond repair. You are simply tired of carrying what was never yours to carry alone. And that is exactly why I am calling you again now. My child, listen closely now, because what you have been calling confusion, what you have been calling loss, what you have been calling pain was never random. Those were my calls. Those were the moments I reached into your life, trying to guide you, trying to protect you, trying to redirect you even when you did not understand what was happening. You remember the delays, don't you? The times when something you wanted so badly did not work out, when doors closed without explanation, when plans you were certain about suddenly fell apart. You stood there confused, wondering what you did wrong, wondering why things were taken from you just when you thought they were finally coming together. But that was not rejection. That was protection. I saw what you could not see. I knew where that path would lead you. I knew the weight it would place on your heart, the damage it would leave behind. So I stepped in quietly without forcing you, and I blocked what would have broken you later. You thought I was silent in those moments, but I was speaking through the outcome. And then there were the people, the ones you held on to, the ones you believed would stay, the ones you trusted with your heart. When they left, or when things changed, it felt like something inside you shattered. You questioned your worth. You questioned your judgment. You wondered why connections that felt so real could disappear so suddenly. But my child, not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some were removed because they were slowly pulling you away from who you are meant to become. Some were allowed to leave because they could not go where I am taking you. And some walked away because their purpose in your life had already been fulfilled, even if it did not feel complete to you. You saw loss, but I saw alignment. You saw abandonment, but I saw necessary separation. Even the heartbreak, especially the heartbreak carrying meaning. I know how deeply it hurt. I know how it made you question everything. I know how it left you feeling empty, like something was taken from you that you could not replace. But that breaking, as painful as it was also a moment where your heart became open again. Open enough to feel. Open enough to seek something deeper. Open enough to hear me, even if only faintly. My child, even the moments when you felt completely lost, when your mind was overwhelmed and your spirit felt heavy without reason, those were not just emotional struggles. Those were signals. There were times when you felt an unexplainable heaviness, a pressure you could not name, a sense that something was not right. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself it was just stress, just overthinking. But deep inside, there was a knowing you could not shake. That was me calling you to slow down, calling you to come closer, calling you to become aware of what was happening around you and within you. And then there were the quiet whispers, the moments where everything seemed still for just a second, where a thought entered your mind that felt different, deeper, clearer. A thought that told you to stop, to reconsider, to turn back, to choose differently. But you brush it aside. Not because you didn't care, but because you didn't recognize it. That was me. 7 times, my child. 7 different ways. 7 moments where I reached into your life, not to control you, not to force you, but to guide you. Every delay, every loss, every feeling, every whisper, every interruption, every redirection, every moment of discomfort, they were all speaking the same message. Come closer. But you did not fully understand. And I do not blame you for that. You were tired. You were overwhelmed. You were trying to survive everything life placed on your shoulders. You did not ignore me out of rejection, you missed me out of exhaustion. But now you see it differently, don't you? Now something inside you is beginning to connect the pieces. Now you are starting to realize none of it was random. None of it was wasted. None of it was meaningless. It was all leading you here, at this moment. Because now you are ready to understand what those calls were preparing you for. And my child, this is where everything begins to make sense, just before everything begins to change. My child, now listen even more carefully, because this is where the weight of everything begins to rise. Something is coming. You have felt it, haven't you? That unexplainable pressure, that quiet sense that things are shifting around you, that feeling like you are standing on the edge of something, but you cannot yet see what it is. You tried to ignore it. You tried to push it down. You told yourself it was just stress, just overthinking, just another phase. But it is not. This is different. There is a shift happening, not just in your life, but around you. The patterns are changing. The pace of things is changing. The weight you feel is not SL or it is the result of something approaching that will require more from you than what you have been giving. And right now you are not fully ready. Not because you are incapable, but because you have been distant. You have been trying to carry life in your own strength. You have been making decisions without fully listening. You have been moving forward while something inside you kept telling you to slow down. And if you continue like this, what is coming will feel heavier than it needs to be. That is why I am speaking louder now. That is why this moment feels more intense than the others. Because time is not as open as you think. You keep telling yourself there is always another chance, another moment, another opportunity to pause and realign. But my child, moments like this are not endless. There are windows in your life, and when they open, they require your attention. If you miss them, the path becomes harder than it was meant to be. I do not want that for you. That is why I am warning you now, not to scare you, but to prepare you. You cannot continue ignoring what your spirit has been trying to tell you. You cannot keep pushing aside the feeling that something needs to change. You cannot keep walking forward while your heart is pulling you in a different direction. Because what is coming will expose everything you have been avoiding. It will bring clarity, but it will also demand alignment. And if you are not grounded, if you are not listening, if you are still distracted, it will feel overwhelming instead of transformative. This is the moment where you must choose. Not later. Not when it becomes obvious. Now, will you keep moving the way you have been moving, or will you finally stop and listen? My child, I am not repeating myself without reason. Every word you are hearing right now carries urgency, because the distance between where you are and what is coming is smaller than you think. You have already delayed enough. You have already ignored enough signs. You have already felt enough internal resistance to know that something is not aligned. And yet you kept going. But now you cannot move the same way anymore. This is where the pattern breaks. This is where you stop pretending everything is fine. This is where you stop numbing the feeling that something deeper is calling you. Because if you ignore this again, the consequences will not feel like confusion anymore. They will feel like weight, pressure, and struggle that could have been avoided. I am not here to watch you walk into that blindly. I am here to pull you back, to wake you up, to make sure you are aware before the shift fully arrives. So do not treat this lightly. Do not let your mind minimize what you are feeling right now. Do not tell yourself this is just another message like the others. Because it is not. This is the moment where everything begins to accelerate. This is the moment where what has been building begins to unfold. And my child, you cannot afford to be unprepared when it does. Something is coming. And this time you must be ready. My child, this is the moment everything has been leading to. Not the past calls, not the confusion, not the delay, but this right here, right now. This is the point where everything begins to separate, where the path you choose next will determine how what is coming will unfold in your life. This moment is not ordinary. It may look like just another second in your day, just another message on your screen, but in the unseen, this is a turning point. This is alignment happening in real time. This is the exact place where everything I have been trying to show you begins to come together. You were brought here for a reason. Not not by chance, not because you happened to stop at the right time. I align this moment with your life because your heart has finally reached a place where it can hear me clearly again. You feel it, don't you? That stillness, that weight, that quiet awareness that something about this moment feels different from everything else. That is because it is different. This is not just information, this is invitation. An invitation to step out of the pattern you have been stuck in. An invitation to stop drifting and start aligning. An invitation to finally respond to what your spirit has been trying to tell you all along. My child, you are standing at a crossroads right now. One path keeps you moving the way you have been distracted, carrying everything alone, pushing through without clarity, ignoring the deeper voice inside you. That path feels familiar, but it leads to more of the same weight you have already been feeling. The other path requires something different. It requires you to slow down. It requires you to listen. It requires you to trust me again, even if you don't have all the answers yet. This is where your decision matters. Not later when things become obvious, not when circumstances force you to change, but now, in this quiet moment where you still have the ability to choose awareness over distraction. Because this is your turning point. You have been waiting for something to change in your life, waiting for clarity, waiting for direction, waiting for relief from the heaviness you have been carrying. But what you did not realize is that the change does not begin outside of you. It begins here, in your response to this moment. If you choose to listen, if you choose to open your heart, if you choose to stop resisting what you feel right now, everything that follows will begin to align in ways you cannot yet see. But if you turn away again, if you treat this like every other moment you pushed aside, the cycle will continue. And I do not want that for you. That is why I am speaking with you like this. That is why this moment feels so clear, so direct, so impossible to ignore. Because this is where the shift begins. Not when everything around you changes, but when something inside you finally says yes. Yes to listening. Yes to slowing down. Yes to allowing me back into the places you have been trying to manage on your own. My child, you do not need to have everything figured out right now. You do not need to know exactly what is coming or how everything will unfold. All you need to do is recognize this moment for what it is. This is your opening. This is your alignment. This is your chance to step into what you have been prepared for through every delay, every loss, every call you did not understand before. And I am here right now waiting for your response. Not a perfect response. A complete transformation in a single moment. Just your willingness. Just your attention. Just your heart opening, even slightly, to say I hear you. Because when you do that, everything begins to shift. And my child, this moment will never be the same again. My child, if you are still here, if you have not turned away, if something inside you has kept you reading until this moment, then understand this clearly: that is not SL Uche Adikakuyano. That is your spirit responding. That is your heart beginning to open again. And because of that, I need you to hear this with everything inside you. Your breakthrough has already begun. Not tomorrow, not someday far away, not when everything becomes perfect, but now. In this very moment, as you listen, as you feel, as you become aware, something is already shifting in your life. You may not see it yet. You may not fully understand it. But that does not mean it is not real. There are things already moving behind the scenes for you, things aligning, things being repositioned, things being prepared in ways your eyes cannot yet recognize. The heaviness you have been carrying is already starting to loosen. The confusion that has been clouding your mind, it is already beginning to clear. This is what happens when you stop running. This is what happens when you finally listen. My child, I have not brought you this far just to leave you where you are. I have not called you 7 times just to watch you remain stuck in the same cycle. I have not allowed everything you went through to be wasted. There is purpose in where you are right now. There is meaning in this moment, and there is a breakthrough attached to your response. But listen carefully, this next step requires something from you. Not perfection, not strength, not having everything figured out. It requires your yes, a real yes. Not a hesitant one, not a delayed one, not a maybe later kind of yes, but a present, honest, intentional yes. Yes, I hear you. Yes, I will stop ignoring this. Yes, I am ready to come back. Because the moment you give that yes, everything begins to change. The moment you say yes, you are no longer fighting alone. The moment you say yes, you allow peace to enter where anxiety has been living. The moment you say yes, you allow clarity to replace confusion. The moment you say yes, you open the door for me to guide you again step by step through what is coming. And my child, I am ready to guide you. I am ready to restore what felt lost. I am ready to heal what has been hurting. I am ready to bring direction where you felt lost and uncertain. But I will not force you. I will not take control without your permission. I am standing here right now waiting for your response. This is not just about reading. This is about choosing. Choosing to stay. Choosing to believe. Choosing to respond. So I want you to do something right now, make it real. Do not keep this moment inside your thoughts where it can fade away later. Bring it into action. Comment amen if you feel this in your heart. Say I believe if something inside you is starting to awaken. Type yes if you are choosing, right now, not to walk away like before. Do not stay silent this time, because silence is what kept you stuck before. Silence is what allowed you to ignore the earlier calls. But this time your voice matters. Your response matters. When you declare it, when you speak it, when you type it, you are not just writing words, you are making a decision. A decision to stop drifting. A decision to step into alignment. A decision to receive what has already been set in motion for you. And my child, when you do that, something powerful begins. Not something temporary. Not something emotional that fades away. But something real, something must do, something that will carry you to what is coming next in your life. This is the beginning. This is the moment where your breakthrough connects with your response. And everything that follows flows from your yes. So do not hesitate. Do not overthink. Do not delay again. Because your breakthrough is not just near, it is already here waiting for your yes. My child, do not ignore this moment. Do not close your heart now after coming this far. Do not return to the same distractions, the same patterns, the same silence that kept you from hearing me before. Because this moment, this exact moment, carries something deeper than you realize. You have been called. 7 times I reached for you, and now you are here. Not not by accident, but because this is where everything was leading. And now that you are here, you must not walk away the same. Something is coming. And when it arrives, it will reveal what is aligned and what is not. It will test what you have been avoiding, and it will strengthen what you choose to surrender. This is not meant to break you, but if you remain distant, if you return to ignoring my voice, it will feel heavier than it was meant to be. That is why I am asking you, stay close. Stay aware. Stay connected to me. Do not let this be another moment you felt deeply only to forget later. Hold on to this. Return to it. Remember what you felt here, because this feeling is not or it is truth reaching your spirit. My child, I am with you. I have always been with you. Even when you felt lost, even when you felt alone, even when you could not hear me, I never left your side. And I will not leave you now. But you must choose to stay. You must choose to listen. You must choose to walk with me again. Because what is ahead will make everything clear. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. And everything's about to change. My child, as this message settles into your spirit, understand this: the same way I reached you, there are countless souls still waiting in darkness for a moment like this. When you sow into this mission, you are not giving to a person, you are releasing light into hearts that are crying out to be found. As it is written, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not just a verse. This is my living promise to you. Right now, you feel the pull to help that is not or that is me inviting you to become part of something greater. When you give through PayPal, through the link in the description or the QR code on your screen, you are planting seeds that will rise as healing, as breakthrough, as salvation in someone else's life. This is your moment to act. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do. As you give, may doors open over your life, may peace settle in your heart, and may blessings overflow in ways you cannot contain. Now step forward and do what your heart has been called to do.